Hey guys, good morning and welcome to another video on Stolo, right? So in today's video, we will be covering one of the most requested feature on our platform, that is predefined stop loss and target, right? So many of you actually wanted to be able to place a target and a stop loss before placing the order itself, right? And I want to say that we are actually live with this feature and we shall go through this one by one, right? So we should get into how to place your predefined stop loss and target orders, and how you can exactly modify them and also cancel them as well, right? So we should go through the complete feature one by one, right? So let's get started. So let me just quickly head over to the scalping terminal, right? So once you are here, make sure you have read the disclaimer, and then you can start using the terminal itself, right? Let me just shift to Bank Nifty here. So I have one trade going on, that is of Nifty. I've just left it at 50 quantity, so you can just ignore this. Yes, so now that I'm on Bank Nifty, right? So the feature that all of you have been pinging us about was predefined stop loss and target, right? So I'll tell you where you can find this as well. So once you have opened any of the terminals, right? So let it be intraday terminal, scalping terminal, or even inside the option chain or any of the analysis, you can see this order management window down, right? Or the trade widget, right? You can see here where you can see all your ongoing orders, you can see your open orders, trade book, funds, anything, right? So inside this order management window, you can see on the left side of history there is a settings icon, right? You can just click on that. So once you've clicked on that, you basically now have access to all trade related settings here, right? For example, so what we should do is, before I start off with how to add the predefined stop loss and target, I should just quickly cover trade general settings, right? So here, these trade general settings are for you to be able to set the terminals and everything else according to your trading style, right? So that is the idea here. So for example, enter maximum quantity in lots, right? So this uh, basically I've set it as 60, right? So for example, so I'll show you where this is as well. So before saving it, you can see that in the drop down of the scalping terminal, my most quantity that will be shown here is 60, right? So according to your capital and according to your preference, you can set this, right? For example, let me just change this to let's say I don't mind trading with 1,000 quantity as well, right? I can just click on save here, right? And you can see that successfully updated your preferences, right? And once you close this, you would be able to see that here now my maximum lots shown in this drop down is 70, right? And you can change that according to how you like it. Even if you want, let's say 30, you can set that here, save it, and if you're trading with a smaller capital, you can see only up to 30 lots as well, right? That is your enter maximum quantity to be shown in the drop down, right? And next you have enter your default quantity, right? So if you're a person who trades with one or two lots, or if you trade with, for example, 5 lots, you can simply click on save here, and similarly your settings would be saved, right? So next time onwards, you can see that. For example, let's just go quickly to the intraday terminal and come back to the scalping terminal. You can see that now 5 lots is set as your default, right? And this would be saved throughout as well. For example, let's say I come to the option chain here and I just click on buy here. You can see that 5 lots is selected as my default, right? And similarly in your intraday terminal as well, it would be set as 5 lots. So so according to your trading style, again, you can you can enter your default quantity, right? I'll just set it as 1 for now and save it. And yes, so that is your default quantities. Next comes your default order type, right? For example, you can set your default order type as either as an MIS order, which is for intraday traders, as well as normal, right? So this normal order would be carry forward it to the next day, right? So for example, if I select normal here and click on save, you can see that again a save notification has come. And scalping terminal, as you know, you would directly place the normal order itself, right? So I shall show you how it would work in the option chain. So now here, if you just click on buy here, you can see that normal is default selected here, right? And as you saw, even my quantity, I had updated it to one lot, and now you can see that my quantity is also set to one lot here, right? So that is how MIS and normal settings work as well, right? So as you set according to your preference, you can save it here as well, right? So now that I've saved it to MIS, even in the scalping terminal, if I take an order, an MIS order would be placed itself. Then comes your set default chart type, right? So you can again, it's completely on your preference and your trading style, so you can choose between futures or spot, right? So for example, if you prefer to trade with futures chart, you can just click save here, and you can see that now everywhere your spot chart would be seen, right? So I specifically trade with futures chart, so I'll just click save here, right? And you can see that it's futures chart here. So if you even for example go to intraday terminal, now your futures chart would be seen instead of your spot, right? So that is the idea of your chart type, right? So you can save accordingly. So this, the idea of trade general settings is, once you have your trading style, once you have entered all this and you save it, it would be your default throughout Stolo system, right? So any terminal you trade in, whether it's the scalping terminal, intraday terminal, or any terminal, now these would be the default settings, and you can trade very quickly instead of each time setting it, right? So that is the idea in trade general settings. Now that we have covered that, we can come to one of the main topics in today's uh, video, is the preset or predetermined stop loss and target orders, right? So in default, once you have entered Stolo, it would be as no unless you click on yes, right? So for example, here I've clicked yes that I want to add a stop loss for every order, right? And you can set the stop loss in two types, right? For example, one is points. So one thing you would have to make note is when a stop loss or a target has been added, it is based on your LTP value of that particular strike, right? So as soon as the order is placed, whatever the last traded price is, the LTP value, it would be based on that, right? For example, let's say let's assume a trade is running at or the price of a strike is 100 rupees, right? And I put 30 points as my predetermined uh, stop loss basically. So as soon as the order is placed, my stop loss would enter at 70. So that is the idea of points, right? And then you have percentage as well. So here, percentage wise, you can enter from 1 to 100 as well, right? So for example, same example, if there's an strike with LTP at 100, and if you put 50% and you place an order, it the stop loss would place at 50% itself, right? So that is how percentage and points work, and I'll show it in in a real trade as well, right? So for example, I'll just uh, yeah, I'll save it as 50 points itself, right? And manual trailing stop loss, I'll just keep it as one itself for now, and I'll explain where it comes into play, right? And I just click on save, right? And you can see that my trade preferences are successfully updated, right? Similarly to stop loss, predetermined stop loss, you can also see target, right? So you can also add a target to every order as well automatically, right? So you can again simply just click on yes. You similarly have two ways of uh, putting it. One is points and one is percentage as well, right? So in this particular target, I will put it as percentage so that I can show you how both points and percentage would work, right? So here you can see that I have put, okay, instead of 50 points in stop loss, I shall add it as 30 points, right? And I'll click on save. Similarly for target, you have two types. As I was saying, points and percentage. I've just selected percentage here. I'll just keep 50%, right? And my manual trailing point, same, one itself, right? And I'll click on, actually, I'll keep it as two, right? And I'll click on save here. So now, as I have saved both my preset stop loss and target. So now whenever I take an order, you can see that my stop loss would be added based on these settings and my target would be added based on these settings. Right now we will see how it works in action. So now you can see that I've opened Bank Nifty here. I'll keep it as uh, 5 lots itself for, okay, not 5 lots. Fine, I'll keep it as 4 lots, for example, here, and let me take a trade, right? So let me basically take a, I shall buy a P, right? So you can see that now both when I added my Bank Nifty strike, which was 50,000 P, basically I had bought at 60 quantity, right? And you can see that my stop loss and target has been added. So the LTP was around 269, 270 is approximately where the LTP was when I added it, correct? So now, according to my stop loss settings, it should have placed 30 points below 270, right? So 30 points below 270 is around 240, right? So for, okay, I think the LTP would have been 276, around 276.15 when we bought it, right? So 30 points below would be 246.15 where it is placed, right? And similarly for target, what we had put is 50%, right? So 50% of uh, 276 would be approximately 137, right? So 137 plus 276 would be around 413, right? So that is the basic idea how stop loss and targets can be added itself, right? So it would accordingly add. Now you have one more setting, which is manual trailing stop loss points, right? So here we have set it as one in terms of stop loss and two in terms of target, right? And I'll show you how that exactly works. For example, as in stop loss it is one. When I click on plus, you can see that my stop loss is updated by 1 point, right? And similarly, as we have put two for target, here you can see we have put trailing point as 2 for target. When I click on plus, you can see that it increased by 2 points from 215 to 217. Similarly, you can update your target and stop loss here itself, right? So you can continuously so this is basically your trailing, right? So you can trail by clicking on plus, and you can update your target and stop losses directly here, right? And also if you want to change it significantly, you can just click on this pencil icon here and change according to what you want, right? And to keep note again is when you set it again, it would be based on your LTP price, right? So when you click on stop loss here, it would place 30 points below your LTP, right? So that is one thing you have to keep note of. And another thing is, for example, when you add quantity, your stop loss and target would not be updated, right? It would be the same itself, whatever it is currently set at. For example, it is at 245.15 stop loss and 215.72, right? So when I add let's say 60 more quantity here and I click on buy, you see my open quantity has been updated, but my target and stop loss will still be the same, right? And similarly for partial exit as well. So for example, here if I exit 4 lots here, you can see that I'm back to my original quantity, but my stop loss and target will remain the same, right? And one point to make sure as well is that your basically the stop loss and target that you have added will be active as long as you're in the Stolo window itself, right? So once, as long as you are in the tab and you are active in the tab, the stop loss and target will also be active, right? If by mistake you close the tab, and if you close the laptop or PC and if you go away, this stop loss and target also will not be saved, right? This is because we do not uh, this stop loss and target is not placed on the broker, right? It is placed on our Stolo systems itself, right? So this is one important thing you have to keep note of, right? So another thing I want to make sure is how you added it in points, right? So let me just uh, okay, let's just keep this open. And yeah, so inside stop loss configuration, right, there are two ways of putting your stop loss here. It's either in points or percentage, right? So percentage 1 to 100%, it would always place your stop loss, right? But when you place it in points, right, for example, let's say you have selected a strike that is trading at rupees 10, right? If it's trading at 10 rupees, and if you place a 30 points uh, stop loss, it cannot be placed, right? So whenever you do this, it the stop loss would not be placed, right? So let's take an example as well, right? So if I just change, okay, let me take a call here. So let me take a for example, let me take this, right? So 50,800, very out of the money, which is running at 38.45 rupees, right? So what I can do is I'll set my stop loss points to be 50, right? So which is over. So if I place anything below 30, for example, if I place 20 points here, it would place around at 18 rupees, right? 20 points below the LTP. But if I place 50 here, it cannot go to negative, correct? So hence I let me just save this. And if there is a scenario where the uh, basically the stop loss points value is greater than the LTP, the stop loss would not be placed, right? So as you can see here, only target was added, which is based on percentage, right? So we have put 50% target, and stop loss was not added, right? So that is how the target and stop loss works in these scenarios, right? And one more thing to keep note of is even this would work in your limit order basis also, right? So if you're placing through option chain, and if you're placing let's say a limit order here, right? So if you choose a limit order, and if you place for example, you want to buy this at 200, and let's say it triggers, right? So your stop loss and target would again be placed on the LTP when the order has been triggered, right? So this would work on limit orders as well, right? So that is how your predefined stop loss and target works on Stolo, right? Hope that is clear. If you have any questions at all, make sure to put it down in the comment section, and our team would for sure answer it, right? Coming to the last part of this video, right? So we have covered trade general settings, we have covered preset stop loss and target configurations. Now we have trade widget settings, right? So trade widget is nothing but this what you see here, right? So you have multiple columns here, for example, symbol, average price, open quantity, target, stop loss, LTP, points, and unrealized PNL, right? So this setting here, which is trade widget settings, basically allows you to open and not open, basically show you columns or hide columns, right? For example, here we have show average price, show quantity, show realized PNL, and we have show target, right? So for example, if I click on no in show target here and click on save, right, you can see that from my trade widget the target column has now disappeared, right? So that is the idea of trade widget setting, which basically allows you to show or hide columns that are present in the trade widget, right? So if you click on yes again and save it, you can see that my target column has now come back, right? So similarly you can do that with the others as well, right? So yes, so that is the end of the video here. So hopefully you've gained a lot of knowledge on how to use predefined stop loss and target and other settings based on the trading terminals that we have on Stolo, right? I know this video would have been a little long, but hopefully you have understood everything. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for asking us to implement this predefined stop loss and target feature. Make sure to use it, and you can surely let us know if you have any questions at all in the comments below.